Friday practice today. So other than that, fire away.
What happened with Kadarius this year? So he was kind of went the other direction.
Yeah, it's his hamstrings. Still we're just trying to do right by the player, and he didn't do anything for walkthrough, so we downgraded him.
Where's he stand for Monday?
He won't practice today. We'll reconvene like we normally do, Dan, after practice, and I'll sit down with Ronnie and the medical staff, and then we'll usually do that Friday after practice where we make our final decisions on the injury report.
You took some guys, of course I can't think of, maybe Kayvon, right up till game day week 1. Will you do that with Kadarius, or you think you'll know either way today?
Yeah, I think anybody that's injured, we try if we think maybe there's a chance, maybe there's not a chance. Again, those discussions happen after this practice, after they go through some rehab sessions or light work on the practice field. And if they can't go, they can't go. But try to hold out hope as long as we can to see if those guys can go.
You'd be all right with the guy not practicing, say normal week like Thursday, Friday, and then playing him on Monday?
Tough usually. Yeah, it's usually tough. I think it's case by case. That's how we'll take this one.
Do you get a sense of excitement about Kayvon Azeez being on the field for the first time? Is there an anticipation as a coach in your mind about what that might look like?
No, I'm happy for the players that they're getting better. I've been hopeful the last couple of weeks. They're two good players for us. We like to have every player you can available. So I'm excited if they're ready to go. It'll be good to have them out there.
Where do you stand at the corner spot opposite of Dory? Because obviously Flott started the game, Fagan finished it.
Yeah. Those decisions too, we'll go through today's practice, and then we sit down as a staff, and any of those things we got to talk about still, which I'd say I have confidence in the guys that are playing opposite of him. It could be both of them, or it could be one of them, but we'll let today's practice go, then we'll talk about that.
You're just not doing these later in the day on Fridays, huh?
No, this is a perfect time.
You've been part of a lot of big games in your life. Does this qualify as a big game in your mind?
Well, it's early part of the regular season, so again, our focus is on what we can do better. Again, I've said this before. It's always cool to play on Monday night, division game, but it's the next one right now, and the early part of the season is where we're at.
Are you aware of the stat, the difference between starting 2-0 and 3-0 among teams that go to the playoffs that jumps by like 25%?
Yeah, no, I'll leave that to you guys. I don't think we can get involved with that. We got to focus on what we need to do this week against the team that's held Brady and Burrow to under 20 points a game, under 200 yards passing, played really well defensively, and the quarterbacks did a good job last week of doing what he needed to do to win the game.
Do you block it out, or do you want to soak it in? And same for your players. Do you want them to block it out or soak it in? The excitement around the Giants right now, because 2-0 to these fans feels like 10-0 after the last 5 years.
No, I think, look, when you win a game, it's hard to win a game in the National Football League, and you should feel good when you win a game, and then you should be able to turn the page quickly. And same thing if you win another one. I don't think you can get too high or get too low if it doesn't go the way things you want them to go. You got to keep on doing the things that we think we need to do each week. Make sure we're prepared. And again, games are tough on Sundays or Mondays. Things are going to happen, but our focus really needs to be on the things that we can control. The last game, the next game, that really doesn't have anything to do with it.
Shep made a comment after the game. I think he said, everyone's still trying to figure out where to line up. There's probably too much of that for your liking. What do you do this week to eliminate some of that pre-snap confusion?
Yeah, you just keep building on it. You keep building on it. Again, it's not anything that there's going to be some of that early in the season. The more you're together, the less there usually is of that. You do the same stuff, Dan. You walk through, you prepare it, and you cut things back if you need to cut things back, and then you come out here and make sure they're doing it right. If you got to repeat it, you repeat it, and then hopefully as you keep building in the system under pressure, which that's what these games are, each week it gets better.
This young guy has about how he was just frustrated with the way things went offensively, especially in the first half. Did Did you get that sense from the offensive unit all week that, hey, we won a game, but we didn't?
No, I think you get that sense. Again, haven't done this quite a while. It's never going to be perfect. You fix the things you can fix, whether it's side of defense, special teams, offense, and you work on it during the week. You emphasize the things that weren't as good as they needed to be, and then you try to build off the things that were, and just stay as consistent as you can.
Do you make tweaks or changes? I mean, the offense in the first half. Tweaks. Oh, tweaks. Sorry. How much do you make tweaks in regards to the process or whatever? Is there something you can do that the offense in the first half kind of has been stagnant the first weeks? In the second half, you've been significantly better.
You're consistent with your approach, but you're always making tweaks. Whether it's practice plans, periods in practice, how you're practicing the beginning parts of the play, the walkthroughs on Saturday. Again, whether it's going really well or not going as well as you want to, I think that's the job of what I need to do, and then communicate that with the coaches, and they have their input. Not just starting off slow, which obviously we don't want to do that, but really every aspect of the game. So every week you go into the game, you feel prepared. You feel like you did what you needed to do to get your team ready. They understand what we need to do, and then it's again, Monday is you're always analyzing stuff you do. That won't change.
What does that look like from week 1 to week 2 to now going into week 3? Those changes.
It's little things too. It's different periods in practice. It's maybe add another rep. It's communication with the staff. You're always self-analyzing, self-evaluating, or self-scouting yourself, not just the plays that you call, the down and distances, but really the entire scheduling process that goes throughout the week.
Changed a lot then?
No, you just change little things here and there. And sometimes, again, we believe in what we do. We believe in our process. We believe in our preparation. But by no means is it ever perfect. So you're always trying to get better. That's what you need to do.
There was a
couple more.
There was a segment this week on NFL Live that said the Panthers were tipping off their plays based on where Christian McCaffrey lined up in the backfield. So I have 2 questions. 1, did you feel like you knew what they were doing? And 2, how aware are you of tipping off your plays as an offense, or is that more of like a baseball thing?
No, I think you always self-scout. I'd say I look at a lot of things throughout the week, on both sides, and in the kicking game. You're always trying to gain a competitive advantage. You can go through a scouting report and talk about tendencies or things like that, and in the heat of the battle, do I think it's important? Yeah, but unless something is 100% or in the high, 90s, 80s, you can tell a player too much too, where they're thinking, well, alert for this, and I'll remember this and do this. You want to let them go use their skill set and play fast.
With Leo, is this a discussion after practice before you can say where he stands?
Discussion after practice.
So let's say he can't play. I mean, he obviously plays a ton of snaps, plays very well. Like, you plug one guy in there, is Dexter have to do more? How would you compensate if he's out?
Well, I'd say all the guys that are in that D-line room are ready to go if that's the case. We try to use those big guys. You try to use as many guys as you can to keep them fresh throughout a game. If it is a case where Leo can't go, then those guys will be ready to go. Obviously, Leo's a really good player, but again, every guy we got on the roster, we expect to be ready to go.
What have you seen from Kayvon and Azeez this week?
Yeah, improvement. They've taken good steps. I think they're much better than they were the week before. Hopefully they'll have a good day here, and we're moving in the right direction with those guys.
Barring a setback, you feel confident that they should be ready on Monday?
I hope so.